Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 4 of the Silent Night Felt Doll Panel Sew Along. This is the exciting week. Do I say that every week? I don't know, but it really is. This is the exciting week because we're putting it all together. We're going to talk about some of the embellishments and what you can do with them, and it just kind of brings the whole project together. So, welcome everyone. My name is Jennifer Long from Be So Inspired. I am a Riley Blake fabric designer, and this fabric collection we are working with today is called Silent Night. You can find it at local quilt shops. Just Google Silent Night for Riley Blake Designs, Jennifer Long. All right. So you can, if you haven't already, if you're just joining us, there's back weeks to this. So week 1, 2, and 3, you can go and watch the videos anytime. We'd love it if you liked or subscribed to the YouTube channel. You can also watch these on in the Facebook group as well. Make sure you've downloaded the instruction panel instructions, the PDF instructions, which are free. You can go to the Be So Inspired website to do those. And you can also sign up for the sew along, even if it's on week 4, even if you're watching this like 6 weeks after, 1 year later, you can still sign up for it because you will get the 4 emails every week after you sign up for them. And they have all the information for the downloads and all the things, the links to the videos, so you don't miss anything. So I encourage you to do that as well. Welcome, everyone. We're going to start today with finishing the dolls first. So you've had a couple of weeks to embellish them as you want. If you want to go back and see that, that's week 2. I'm just going to show you my one doll here. So I've done some hand embroidery detail on this doll, and it's unfinished at the back. So my dolls were looking like this. I kind of did a rough cutout. I did some, French knots or whatever details I wanted, some satin stitches in the crown. And this is what the back looks like on my doll. So they are stabilized and they're like that. All I have to do is take a piece of craft felt that's a little bit bigger. I'm using white felt for the back of all of my dolls, everything that's black, because they're just like a paper doll. So they've got that strong stabilizer in between them here, and they've got the felt on the front, and they're going to have a piece of felt on the back to cover it. So as long as the whole area is covered up, it's going to look like this. You can spray baste it if you like. So you can just spray baste it so it stays there, or you can pin it. And you're just going to do a stitch in the center of the seam allowance. So the seam allowance on a felt doll doesn't need to be turned under because it will not fray. So on that seam allowance there, you're going to do this the stitch. You can do a fancy stitch if you like. I'm going to get in really close so you can see. I've done a triple stitch. So it's basically like 3 single stitches. It goes forward, back, forward, forward, back, forward. It's also known as a stretch stitch. I don't know if you can really get a chance to see it, but it kind of gives it a nice sort of like a satin look on that stitch. And I've gone all the way around, keeping my needle down whenever I've turned. You can just do a shortened single stitch if you want. You can do a blanket stitch. You can also stitch this by hand at the end, and you can finish it like with a hand blanket stitch if you want as well. But there's lots of pieces, so I've done it this way, and then just a nice triple stitch around all of them. Then I've cut the layers out so that everything is nice and even and completely finished, and the dolls can't tear. They're nice and firm. They don't even have a crackly sound. They are really just a great take as you go play. So we're going to make the entire set of these. And then we're going to move on to make the bag. Actually, before I do that, I want to say that if you are making these into tree ornaments, before you do this last step, so before you put this in here, you could put your little ribbon or hoop inside of there, and then sew it in so that that's in on the top of the doll. And then you've got your little Christmas tree ornaments that would look like this also. So you can also get another set and do them this way for the tree if you want. Feel free to share tips and tricks about how you're doing them. We've also appliqued them, so we've taken them at this stage after we've embroidered them, or just as they are, we put them on the front of stockings or tags for your Christmas ornaments. There's just endless possibilities for these adorable little felt dolls. Bag. So last week we got the bag prepared. I also said if you wanted to do any embroidery detail, you can. I've done some stuff to some special items like the star, the wings on the angel, little baby Jesus's little halo there. So I've done a couple of things that I wanted to have accented here. So I've had this stabilized. It's all stabilized and cut out. I've lined these pockets, so you can see I've lined them with that cute tossed print inside of there. Turned them out how we talked about, and then I've stitched along the top, put them in place, and then done a stitch 1/8 of an inch all the way along the sides, stopping and starting and finishing on both edges here. I've also matched the front pocket here, so you can see there's another pocket in the front in the manger, and I've done the same thing here, so that you can put dolls in here. You can have the whole set coming out of there in the pocket. This is going to be a bag. This is going to be a bag with a flap that closes like this, and the handles come up over, right? So this is just the outside of the bag right now. Okay, so I'm going to put the outside down. We're going to put that off to the side. The inside has a long, narrow pocket. So the inside looks like this. It's actually in 3 pieces. So this is the whole scene, the travel scene. Then there's the inside flap. And then there's the inside pocket. So the pocket you're going to line again. I just stitched along the top and then flipped it over. So we've got a nice finishing edge there. And then I've actually quilted mine. I thought it would be kind of fun to have this texture on there. Kids love texture. It's great for the felt to hold on to it still as well. And I just thought it would really hold it nicely. So you can have a raw edge along the whole bottom because it's going to be in your seam. But because these are also in the seam too, here's a little tip and trick. I'm leaving those raw as well. So unfinished. The only edge that's finished at the top is at the top here. And I'm putting it directly onto my bag like this. So you can see the pocket is covering up all of those camels inside. Yeah, so that we can actually play. So we can actually do the scenes and play out over here. So we've got the panel on the front like this. I'm going to stitch it in place along the sides and the bottom and the side. So it's here. Just like that. You can do a center stitch down here if you want to as well, just to hold the pocket. We're going to reinforce that again, but you can do that here as well. Once those are stitched down in place, you're going to make sure that you put the flap on the opposite side. So if I have, this is laying here with the flap on this side, and then when I lay this one here, I'm going to have the flap on this side so that when I turn it right sides together and we flip it, that the flap will be on the correct side. So we have the pocket sewn. We sew that flap. It's going to cover up that one raw edge. So there we have it. It's covering up that one raw edge. We're almost there. We're going to put the handles on either side of the book. So you can do it on the front or the back. I'll do it on this side here. I'm going to take a handle and stitch it this way, but I'm going to actually stitch the handle down and down. And I'm just going to tack them all there. Once everything is tacked in place and the pockets are secure, all your hand embroidery is done, you put them right sides together, stitch all the way around, leaving an opening, turn it through, and you have your bag. You can close off that edging. You can do another stitch around that perimeter just to give it that secureness. You can do a stitch again down the center where it's going to fold. There's a little tiny microscopic line, so you can see it there. And you can do one along this line of the flap as well. And you have your bag. So that is the gist of the bag and the felt dolls. The other thing that's added in this panel are some bag tags. So you make those exactly the same as you would for these felt dolls, but instead of just doing this loop, you can just make another fabric loop and you can affix a clip into them. So I like to use the snapping tool. I like to use the like the plastic snaps, and you use it. They're called cam snaps or whatever kind of brand that you want to get. And they just kind of click together. It's really good for fine motor, but it's also like really pretty, and it won't grab to the felt and like tear the felt. So you can use Velcro, but if you accidentally get like the front of Mary's face on the Velcro, then eventually it'll like pull your felt. You know what it does to felt, right? So So I like to use canned snaps or any kind of snaps that you can find, but that is completely a preference for you. Snaps are also very safe. So you can use those for little charms on the handles of your bag. And you can also use any of these items for an applique. So some of the items that you maybe want to have for the story, but some you might want to use for applique on a pillow or applique on a stocking. You're welcome to do that. You can put little pockets everywhere and you can have little characters coming out throughout the month of December. And you can really learn about the story. So a nice thing also that I know some families are thinking about doing, we're going to be doing this at our house as well, is that for all the days leading up to Christmas Eve, so for 24 days, we're going to give one of the characters to the children, and so they can build their bag so that on Christmas Eve, they will have the entire Nativity story, the Silent Night story. So it's just a beautiful way, great way to have memories. And I hope you have just so much fun making these, like I had designing and making them with you. And I hope that the children in your life, the families, the teachers, and everyone, this story can bring joy and spread love at the season. I'm so happy to be sewing along with you. Thank you from my heart for being here. Once the sew along is done, it's not over. It's never over. We'll be going straight into the Greatest Gift Quilt Along. And the Greatest Gift Quilt Along, you can find all the information again at besoinspired.com/fabric. And it is an 8-week quilt along. It is a row quilt. So we are following along in the rows. It's beginner, maybe a little bit advanced beginner, intermediate beginner, but you can do it. We'll walk you through it. It's all stitch and flip, a little bit of half square rectangles, and all traditionally pieced. Lots of fun. You can grab the pattern right now, the PDF in the Be So Inspired shop. Sew it with me in September and October. You can have plenty of time to hang it up at your church or in your house. The fabrics in this collection are Silent Night, and they have lots of nods to whimsy and children, but also the color palette is traditional and on point for the time and the era. So it's really authentic. There's just lots of great aspects in it. The floral print actually has the Star of David flower in it, and it has palm branches and olive branches in it. So very true to the area, to Bethlehem. And just can't wait. I'm so excited to share this collection with you and this pattern with you, sew it with you in the next couple months. So I hope you can grab the pattern, either paper version at your local quilt shop or from your favorite online retailer, or you can grab the PDF from the Be So Inspired shop, and we'll get sewing this next week. We're going to start by preparing for the greatest gift. So we're going to gather up all our supplies, talk about anything special we might need, and I can't wait to see you there. Have a wonderful, wonderful remainder of your summer if you're watching this live. And thank you so much for being here. It means so much to me as always. I encourage you to sign up for the Be So Inspired newsletter, and let's create together. Thank you from my heart for being here. One thing I almost forgot to say. I never want to let you go. One thing I almost forgot to say is if you are having lots of fun with our projects and with our designs, I would also encourage you to join, become part of our Makers Club. So we have a club. It's on the tabs at the top. It's just called Join the Makers Club. And you get 3 beautiful patterns every month. You get a quilt pattern a month, you get a doll pattern a month, and you get a craft pattern a month. So even if you just like one of those 3 genres, the deal is amazing. It's less than the cost of one of those patterns. And then we put it all together at the end of the month. So it's all whimsy and fun. And each month is kind of themed around each other. And there's just so much great inspiration and pattern and so much value in there. So I really hope that if you haven't already joined, that you do come and be part of the Makers Club so we can inspire each other. All right. Thank you so much for being here. You have a great day, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.